Good day, everyone. My name is Lucas Tagumpay-Cantre, and here are my fellow researchers.
I am Jamily Kate B. Hanka. I am Kirsten Delia D. Inan. I am Maria Catalina Cruz. I'm Luis Margaret Mendoza. I am Maria Tina Cruz. I am Angela Chantal Celestral. I am Kaya Yossi.
And today we're going to be presenting our research study entitled Comparative Evaluation of Oraclome versus New Formulated Product. This study compares the new formulated mouthwash versus the traditional one and commercial one, assessing its sensory evaluation, effectiveness, and overall user preference. This study also highlights the following ingredients: baking soda, xylitol powder, peppermint oil, and acidic fruit extract. The result shows that the new formulated mouthwash is much more visually appealing compared to the traditional one and homemade one. It also maintains a long-lasting freshness of breath. It is concluded the new formulated mouthwash is thus much more superior compared to the traditional one and commercial one, making it a viable alternative. Though, further research is recommended for better formulations and storage stability to enhance user preference and overall impact.
Interest in natural chemical-free mouthwash alternatives has increased because conventional mouthwashes frequently contain chemical ingredients and not everyone can tolerate. The effectiveness of mouthwash made from natural ingredients like orange and lemon peels and cloves has been studied in the past, such as the Oraclome project. Although Oraclome showed some promise in meeting dental hygiene requirements, its taste was not to everyone's taste. This has prompted an action for better formulation that strike a balance between potency and pleasing sensory attributes. The purpose of this study is to contrast an innovative homemade mouthwash receipt that includes baking soda, xylitol, water, and peppermint oil, with an established receipt that uses these ingredients alone. Evaluating its taste, effectiveness, sensory qualities, and storage potential is the aim.
We created a homemade mouthwash using simple ingredients like baking soda, xylitol, water, peppermint oil, and acidic fruit extract. The study seeks to determine if a natural alternative can provide comparable or superior result between the Oraclome in terms of freshening breath, improving oral health, and maintaining a pleasant taste and scent.
The study seeks to answer the following questions. Number 1. How does the new homemade mouthwash compare to traditional homemade and commercial mouthwashes in terms of efficacy? Number 2. Is the new mouthwash more appealing in terms of sensory properties? And for number 3, which mouthwash maintains overall satisfactory and preference of the participants? For these questions, the hypotheses are: be more effective than traditional homemade mouthwashes due to the antibacterial properties of baking soda and acidic fruit extract. Number 2, provide a better taste and more appealing sensory properties compared to traditional herbal mouthwashes. And for number 3, be more liked by the participants due to its less bitter taste compared to the traditional one.
This study is significant as it explores the cost-effective and accessible alternatives to commercial mouthwash products. By comparing a homemade natural formulation of existing mouthwash options, the research aims to provide insights into the viability of natural mouthwash in oral hygiene routines, potentially promoting the use of non-chemical alternatives for sensitive individuals.
The study focuses on comparing the effectiveness and sensory properties of the new homemade mouthwash formulation. It limits its scope to sensory evaluations and does not include extensive chemicals and microbial analysis. It also has gaps to evaluate the storage stability or refrigeration due to the short amount of time.
In making our new formulated mouthwash, we need the following materials. We need 2 tablespoons of baking soda, 2 tablespoons of xylitol powder, and 4 tablespoons of acidic fruit extract, and 20 drops of peppermint oil, and we need 2 cups of water. So, to prepare our new formulated mouthwash, we are going to dissolve 2 tablespoons of baking soda, and 2 tablespoons of xylitol powder, and we are going to add 2 cups of water, and now we are going to add 4 tablespoons of acidic fruit extract. And now we are going to mix it thoroughly until it is completely dissolved. And after mixing it, we are going to put it into the container. Now, as we can see that we have this bottle, and I'm going to put this in. And now I'm going to pour the mixture into the bottle. Now we are going to add 40 drops of peppermint oil into our mixture. And now we are going to shake the bottle to mix the peppermint oil into the mixture. And now here we have it. We have our final formulated mouthwash.
So in making the traditional mouthwash, we need the following materials. We need cloves, 2 cups of water, acidic fruit pills, peppermint oil, 2 tablespoons of xylitol powder, and 2 tablespoons of baking soda. So first is we need to infuse the 2 cups of water, cloves, and acidic fruit extract into a bowl. We're going to add our cloves and acidic fruit pills. We're going to boil it into medium-high heat for about 10 to 15 minutes. So after infusing the cloves and acidic fruit peels extract, and it's in room temperature, we're going to sip it. Make sure that there are no residue will remain on them. After that, we're going to dissolve 2 tablespoons of xylitol powder and 2 tablespoons of baking soda. Mix it together. After all the ingredients are mixed together, we're going to add 10 to 15 drops of peppermint oil. There. After it has been mixed thoroughly, we're going to transfer it into a clean container. Transfer. And there you have it, our traditional homemade mouthwash.
For our sensory evaluation, to assess sensory properties, a new homemade mouthwash will be compared with a traditional new homemade mouthwash. A group of 10 volunteers will be asked to evaluate 5 questions relating to color, clarity, taste, and odor. Once the mean, median, and mode is calculated, the following questions will be asked. For our question number 1, how would you rate the color and clarity of the new homemade mouthwash? Number 2, how would you describe the scent of the new homemade mouthwash? Number 3, how would you rate the taste of the new homemade mouthwash compared to traditional mouthwashes? For our number 4, did the mouthwash leave an aftertaste? And lastly, for our number 5, how refreshing did your mouth feel using the homemade mouthwash?
Effectiveness will be tested by using the mouthwash refreshing breath. Each volunteer will take sample and circulate the new mouthwash. The following questions will be asked to measure the duration of effectiveness of the homemade mouthwash, as well as to assess whether the new formulation is an improvement over existing product, and once the results are done, the mean, median, and mode will be calculated. The questions are: how long did you feel your breath stayed fresh after using the new homemade mouthwash? And last, compared to the traditional mouthwash, how effective was the new formulation in maintaining fresh breath?
The results indicate that the product is generally well received in terms of its sensory attributes. Most respondents found its color and clarity very appealing by 70%, and its scent was described as very pleasant and refreshing by 80% of participants. In terms of taste, 60% felt it was much better than the commercial-made mouthwash, while 30% found it slightly better. And the aftertaste is not an issue for most, with 60% reporting no aftertaste and 40% describing it as mild and pleasant. Lastly, the product provided a strong sense of mouth refreshment, with 70% rating it as very refreshing. As shown in Table 1, the questions are: number 1, how would you rate the color and clarity of the new homemade mouthwash? The responses are: 7 people responded very appealing and 3 people responded somewhat appealing. As for number 2, the question is: how would one describe the scent of the new homemade mouthwash? The responses are: 8 responded very pleasant and refreshing, and 2 responded somewhat pleasant. For number 3, the question is: how would you rate the taste of the new homemade mouthwash compared to traditional mouthwash? The responses are: 6 responded much better, 3 responded slightly better, and 1 responded about the same. As for number 4, the question is: did the mouthwash leave an aftertaste? The responses are: 6 responded no aftertaste, 4 responded mild and pleasant aftertaste, and for the last question, how refreshing did your mouth feel as you have the mouthwash? The responses are: 7 responded very refreshing, and 3 responded somewhat refreshing.
Table 2 shows the testing the effectiveness of homemade mouthwash. The results suggest that the new homemade mouthwash is effective in maintaining fresh breath. A majority of 60% reported that their breath stayed fresh for more than 45 minutes, while 40% experienced freshness lasting between 31 to 45 minutes. When compared to traditional mouthwash, 50% found the new formulation much more effective, while 40% considered it slightly more effective, and 10% felt it was about the same. Overall, the data indicates a positive reception, with most respondents experiencing longer-lasting freshness and improved effectiveness.
As shown in Table 3, question number 8, would you prefer using this homemade mouthwash over a commercially available one? 5 participants answered definitely yes, 4 participants answered probably yes, and 1 neutral. Question number 2, would you recommend this homemade mouthwash to others? 5 participants answered definitely yes, 4 participants answered probably yes, and 1 neutral. And last question, do you think the new mouthwash needs to go under further testing and improvement? 5 participants answered yes in both effectiveness and sensory properties. 3 participants answered yes, it needs improvement in taste or sensory properties. And last, 3 participants answered no, it's already good as it is. The study shows a positive reception of homemade mouthwash, with 50% preferring it over commercial options and 60% recommending it. However, 50% needs enhancement in effectiveness and sensory properties, while 30% suggests focusing on taste and sensory aspects. Participants preferred the new mouthwash containing baking powder, xylitol powder, lemon and orange fruit extract, and peppermint oil, which is more effective and lasts longer than traditional mouthwashes.
The findings of this study demonstrate that the newly formulated homemade mouthwash is an effective, natural alternative to both traditional homemade and commercial mouthwashes. Participants favored the new formulation due to its superior sensory appeal, including better color, scent, and taste, as well as it is longer lasting breath freshness compared to the traditional variant. The use of baking soda, xylitol, peppermint oil, and citrus extracts contributed to its antibacterial properties and improved breath freshening ability, making it a viable and accessible option for individuals seeking chemical-free oral hygiene solutions.